Jim Kunkle here. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel and set the notification bell to all so that you won't miss any of my new content. I'm Jim Kunkle, and today I will be interviewing Sarge Summers, who's the founder and president of Oilfield Connections International. Sarge served active duty in the United States Army from 1970 until 1992. He is a Vietnam-era veteran. Additionally, Sarge has nearly 30 years in the oil and gas industry, working with customers in upstream, midstream, and downstream. In January of 2019, Sarge started the Oilfield Connections International with 11 initial members in Midland, Texas. 20 months later, they have nearly 25 chapters in the United States, one in Peru and South America, and over 5,000 members. I hope you enjoy this interview. Sarge, what an impressive background you have. For those watching who might not know about Oilfield Connections International, can you talk about the Mission of Oci?
I'd be glad to, and thanks for the opportunity to spend some time with you today. I'm here in Houston. You know, Houston is the oil and gas capital of the world and the Gulf Mecca of the South. So it's good to be with you, my friend. And yeah, the mission of Oilfield Connections International, OCI, threefold. First of all, networking. We are a pure networking organization. I like to say networking 101. We get back to the basics and we build from there. And then the second thing is mentoring. And we want that to be just a natural thing that happens between members of our organization. We have over 5,000 members. And then the third part, and maybe the most important part for me and for many of our members, is giving back to our local communities where we live, work, and sometimes play.
You know, 2020 has delivered some challenges to the oil and gas sector, which has caused a major reduction in the sector's labor. You know, what regional networking opportunity does OCI provide to professionals and labor who are looking for valuable connections and new industry opportunities?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked that question. You know, we basically serve as a conduit between the employers and the employees that are out there looking for work. And you're right. This is 2020. I went into this year and I did some writing and I sent out some stuff and I said, I'm looking forward to this year with 2020 vision. Well, obviously I didn't have 2020 vision because I didn't see what was about to hit us. I didn't see the wave that was about to hit us. And I'm telling you, I don't think anyone was prepared for this. It was like a double whammy or a triple whammy, you know, and so it was really, really bad. But one of the things that we've been able to do as an organization, and we've only been around a short time, but we set up a job board. And on that job board, people can post their resumes, they can post comments, ask questions, and that's from both directions. That's from the prospective employee, the guy or gal that's out there looking for work, primarily in the oil and gas industry, or it can be for the guy sitting in the C-suite. As a matter of fact, I wrote something down just a moment ago. I saw a title that I'd never seen before on LinkedIn on this one guy. I didn't even pay attention to who the guy was. I was so intrigued by the title, and the title is Chief Vision Officer. Chief Vision Officer. And I thought, you know what? That's what I want to be. I want to be the Chief Vision Officer for Oilfield Connections International. I think my job right now is more like head cheerleader, something like that. But we're doing everything that we possibly can, James, to help people find that job. And one of the things that we do in all of our different monthly luncheons that we have all over the country is we allow folks to stand up and share what's going on with them, with their families, what their employment situation is. In other words, we give an opportunity to the folks that do not currently have a job. And I'd like to say they're between jobs. They're between jobs. They're not unemployed. They're between jobs. This is going to pass. This is going to pass. We're already starting to see some leading indicators that indicate that we're coming up out of this thing. This is my fourth downturn. It's no time to panic. It's time to roll up our sleeves and get back to work.
Well, you definitely are doing that. You know, you're not only the visionary and the cheerleader, but also too the volunteerism that you've provided to the industry all these years. So, you know, talking about volunteers, they're the lifeblood of OCI. Can you describe who OCI volunteers are and what they provide to the OCI membership overall?
I sure can. You know, they come from everywhere. And I like to say that God just keeps bringing me the right people, and I honestly believe that. We had no infrastructure. We had nothing except for an idea. Didn't even have a concept, just an idea. And so we started this, and I may be getting ahead of you on the questions. I hope not. But we started this with 11 people at the Cracker Barrel in Midland, Texas, in the Permian Basin. My family and I lived out there for 11 and a half years and moved away in 2003. But you know what? We may have physically moved away, but in my heart of hearts, we never left West Texas. West Texas is an amazing place, and it's not the terrain, and you know that. It's the people. It's the people. And so we've been incredibly blessed to be able to get this thing up and running, and with the it's just amazing because we started out with one chapter. We met every other month that first year, which was last year, and in November, I sat down with the leadership team. See, we don't have boards; we have leadership teams because we're all about being leaders, And I sat down with the leadership team and I said, "Listen," I said, "if we're going to see this thing take off, we're going to have to start meeting every month, and same day, same time." Same location, and we're going to have to start using online registration. And so we started doing that, and we went from 28 in November to 76 in January. In February, we just had one chapter. In February, we had snow and ice. We had 65. We were real pleased with that. And then in March, we had 165, and then that was our last meeting for several months. But we didn't sit on our laurels. What we did was we started 17 chapters from January the 1st of this year until March the 10th of this year, 17 additional chapters. And now we're at 26 chapters, with 2 of those chapters being overseas, one in Peru, South America, and one in the country or nation of Trinidad.
For the viewers of this episode, what I'll do is I'll make sure that I put in the video description the website for OCI, and also I will put the LinkedIn a link for Sarge for people to follow, because you're going to get a lot of great information related to it. And I've been following OCI and Sarge you for a long time on LinkedIn, and I've seen the growth of OCI, but also the mission and how critically important it is. And it's a great opportunity for professionals, laborers, and the service providers into the oil and gas industry to network and connect. And as Sarge mentioned, when we're looking at oil and gas, there's boom and bust cycles with the industry. And what's really critical is for groups like OCI to be able to pull together and work yourselves through these times for the great things to come. Now, Sarge, we've had a great conversation about OCI. In closing out this interview, what haven't we talked about that you'd want to leave with the viewers?
I think the one central thing that I'd like to leave with the viewers is this. If you're not on LinkedIn, you need to be. You need to be. And I fought it. I did not want to have anything to do with LinkedIn, but I had an engineer friend, young guy. He said, "Sarge, the way that you like to mentor young people," and at that time I was president of the Society of American Military Engineers for the Nashville Post in Nashville, Tennessee, and he just bugged the tar out of me to get onto LinkedIn. And so I said no, and I fought it. I thought it was like MySpace or Facebook or whatever. And so, one day he called me and he'd figured it out. He said, "Sarge," he said, "have you ever had trouble getting past the gatekeeper anywhere that you've gone to make a sales call?" And I said, "Never." And then I realized that wasn't true. I said, "Well, I'm having trouble right now with a company in San Antonio, and I would desperately love to get in front of their engineers and their procurement department and just have an opportunity to tell them what we do as a company." And he said, "Listen, if you'll go on LinkedIn and send out a couple of connection requests," he said, you'll get that appointment." So I did, and I showed up at that office there in San Antonio, and the gatekeeper was doing this, like, "You're not coming in here." And I said, "Hold on, I've got an appointment this time." And so I had the appointment, went to lunch, talked about what our company does, and then went back to the office. He said, "Come up to the office. I got something I want to share with you." Went back up to the office, and he gave me about a 4-foot stack, which was a bid package. I knew it was big. When you have a 4-foot bid package, it's a big deal. Well, it was over $20 million for some storage tanks that they needed to be built up in Williston, up in the Bakken in North Dakota. And we actually won that bid. And so, I got to be a hero for at least a year with the company that I was working for out of Louisville, Kentucky. But here's my point. I have over 21,000 connections now, and I would say 97% of my connections are oil and gas related. And so it's important that you get on there. It's important that we network. I know a lot of folks fought the idea at first, but it's very, very important that you get on there. People ask me, said, how much time a day do you spend on LinkedIn? And I will tell them, oh, maybe 7 or 8 hours a day, but that's 7 days a week. And so I'm out there. That's part of the networking process. You know, we have to dig, we have to find these things. But again, let me just say this, because it's very important. I want everybody to know that this is not about me. It's not about Sarge Summers. It's not about necessarily where I've been or what I've done. I'll be 68 in December. But it's about giving back to the succeeding generations. It's about giving something, leaving something for them. And I'm very concerned about that. You know, we live in a society that's people just want to grab. And you know, we need to give. We need to give. And I tell people, give with no expectation of anything in return. So I want to say this. I want to thank you again for allowing me some time today to get the message out. But I also want to thank every member of our organization. I want to, whether they're a paid member, an unpaid member, whether they serve on a leadership team at any level, I just want to thank them, because I may be the face of the organization, but let me tell you something. They are the glue of this organization. And there are a lot of other organizations out there, and I'm a member of all those different organizations. Love every one of them, promote every one of them. We're not in competition with anyone. So if they don't hear anything else that I say today, I want them to know we're not in competition with anyone. We're trying to meet the needs of the people in our industry. And if you've ever, people ask me all the time, well, do I have to work in oil and gas in order to come to your meetings or be a member? I said, no. If you've ever put cosmetics on your face or pumped fuel into a vehicle, you're part of the oil and gas industry. So come on.
You're 100% correct. You know, oil and gas, it's the lifeblood of America, but it's also the lifeblood of the world. And I really appreciate the OCI out there really, championing everything and dealing with the challenges that face us today. Sarge, thank you so much for coming on with me today.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
Hey, have a great day.
You too, sir. Bye-bye.
So, Joe, for the lay person who's watching this episode who might only think that corrosion engineering is related to, metal corrosion, as an overview, what else does corrosion engineering relate to?